and I suppose it all started back 5 years ago when we had to look at individual efficiencies of animals because we weren't getting the performance what we needed. From that point, we pinpointed a few things, one of them being scanning of the sheep. It was far too low. So from that, we started to record individual scanning data to find out what was going wrong, what was going right. The other thing was we were receiving a few lambing losses. When you have a dead lamb at lambing time, you know the reason why it died on a tally, add them all up at the end. From that, we found that we were losing a lot of lambs to big lambs. They were just getting stuck at lambing time. We're outdoor lambing here, and essentially we weren't getting them through the night and thing. What we'd done from that is a complete breed change. So we found out that basically it was the breed of the sheep we had at that point probably weren't quite suited to what we needed. So we went for an easier lambing sheep. We use a weigh crate. We weigh the lambs a lot. We monitor growth all year round essentially. We also weigh our ewes so we know mature body weights and body condition score ewes. On the other side of that, we use stick readers and various bits of equipment to help us collect lambing information from individual birth records to adding management details to animals. The result of that is that we are now weaning more lambs. Yes, our sheep might be slightly smaller now, but the individual efficiencies of the sheep are better than what they were. Another thing we did 5 years ago, we had various different types of breeds, from Romneys to Aberfields to there was some Clin breeding, there was a bit of everything. I thought this was a great opportunity to see what was best. So we individually recorded from birth right through to slaughter all of these animals, and that let us see the efficiencies of each ewes and really drove where we headed with the breeding. So here we have done a lot of rotational grazing and various different grazing types. One of the upsides is we grew more grass. One of the downsides is we probably overstocked the farm. We were starting to see a decline in scanning. It was dropping far too low. Replacement rates were going up. Essentially, we were losing more animals. So from that, we decided to start measuring grass with a plate meter and find out what can this farm actually carry, or on average. Over sort of a course of 3 years, we think we've now found that, and the results, they sort of speak for themselves. We've dropped our replacement rate by 5%. Our scanning's gone up by just shy of 18%, so a huge amount. We have 300 less ewes, but we're still making a couple of thousand more. So on our terminal side, we've done a lot of trial and error from various different breeds, from your main breeds like your Texels to some of your other breeds like your Rusins for easy lambing. We've also used variations of Shetlands and everything. I think what we did is we found the Suffolk. So the key thing the Suffolk did for us is, one, it had a good survival rate at birth. It tended to be thicker skinned, come out quite hairy, and got up and went, opposed to some of the other breeds. And that was really important because we were losing lambs due to lambs not getting up, not sucking, getting cold in the rain, and eventually dying with hypothermia. From that, we trialled a few Suffolk tups. It worked really well. So from following individual data through to slaughter data, we found that the Suffolk's days to slaughter compared to any other breed were far above. Now, the reason that's important to us is because days to slaughter is vital. Because we're fairly well stocked and we're managing grass, we want to make sure that lambs are off the farm as quick as possible. So from that, we decided we would start breeding our own Suffolks. I quite like, from a biosecurity point of view, to keep everything I can in-house. We're not feeding them, they're on grass. They do come in for lambing. That might not happen forever, it might, but they're essentially treated as commercial sheep. The only difference is we will occasionally use AI and they get CT scanned. So they're fully signet recorded from birth right through, and then also they'll go into SRUC's CT scanner, which is great, and it basically lets us see that lamb if it was a carcass. So we know we're producing the right animal without killing the lamb. So one of our main future aims is to keep reducing days to slaughter. How we're going to do this is by One, breeding our own suffix for the beef flock and using weight data, so regular weights to see the fastest growing lambs and breeding from them. And two, it's going to come from the A flock and our own ram breeding project. So using the weight data we collect with our weigh scales, regular weights will let us know our fastest growing rams which we have produced from our A flock, and we can breed them back and forth onto ewes that are not related. Our other main aim is to keep improving our lamb losses. Every year we're trying to reduce them. My hope at the minute is if we can keep grassland management right, which we are, and also continually cull the animals which are underperforming, not having lambs at birth or dead lambs, and not breeding from them, we will manage to do this.